Welcome to Honeybee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. Our wedding anniversary had always been special to me. It wasn't just a date on the calendar. It was a reminder of the moment I promised to spend my life with the woman I loved, Emma. Every year, I made sure it was memorable. Sometimes it was a quiet dinner home, sometimes a trip to the countryside, and other times just a night full of laughter, food, and memories. But this year, things felt different. For weeks leading up to our anniversary, I noticed how distant Emma had become. She was constantly on her phone, replying to messages late into the night. She used to leave her phone on the table, but now she kept it face down, sometimes even taking it with her to the bathroom. I didn't want to sound paranoid or insecure, but something about her behavior made me uneasy. I brushed it off at first. Maybe work had her stressed. She had recently been promoted, and her new boss, David, seemed to rely on her a lot. She often said, "He trusts me with big projects now. It's good for my career." I was proud of her, genuinely, but I didn't expect that her dedication to work would soon overshadow everything else, even us. The morning of our anniversary, I woke up earlier than usual. I made breakfast, her favorite pancakes with berries, and placed a small wrap box beside her plate. Inside was a silver bracelet with our initials engraved. Simple but meaningful. I sat there smiling, imagining her reaction when she saw it. When she finally came into the kitchen, she was rushing, her hair still wet from the shower, phone pressed against her ear. She barely noticed the effort I'd put into the morning. "Yeah, David, I'll email the report before noon." "Don't worry," she said, pacing around. Then she looked at me briefly. "Morning, babe. Sorry, I'm running late. Big presentation today." I forced a smile. "Morning. You forgot something." I hinted gently, my voice trying not to sound hurt. She looked at me, confused. What do you mean?" "Our anniversary," I said softly. "Today." Her expression changed immediately, a mix of guilt and shock. "Oh my God, I completely forgot," she said, running her hand through her hair. "I'm so sorry. I've just been so busy with work lately. Can we celebrate this weekend? I promise I'll make it up to you." It stung, but I didn't want to start an argument before she left. I just nodded. "Sure, don't worry about it." She kissed me quickly on the cheek and grabbed her bag. "You're the best. I'll see you tonight." As the door closed, I sat there staring at the half-eaten pancakes, the untouched gift, and the empty seat across the table. That small box suddenly felt heavier than ever. The day dragged on. I kept myself busy, did some cleaning, caught up on some work from home, and even went for a jog. But no matter what I did, my mind circled back to one thought. She forgot. By evening, I decided to make the night special anyway. Maybe if she came home to a cozy dinner and soft music, she'd remember why this day mattered. I set the table, lit a few candles, and prepared her favorite meal, creamy pasta with garlic bread. I even poured some wine and placed her gift neatly on her plate. As the clock ticked past 7, then 8, I started feeling uneasy. She usually texted when she was running late, but tonight, nothing. I sent her a quick message. "Hey, everything okay? Dinner's ready." No reply. At 9:30, my phone finally buzzed. A message from her. "Sorry, work dinner with the team. Don't wait up. Love you. Work dinner." On our anniversary. I stared at the screen, reading the message over and over, my chest tightening with disappointment. I wanted to believe it was innocent, that maybe it truly was a professional meeting, but my gut whispered otherwise. I scrolled through social media absent-mindedly, and that's when I saw it. A co-worker of hers had posted an Instagram story from a fancy rooftop restaurant downtown. I recognized the place. We had celebrated her last birthday there. In the background, I saw her, Emma, laughing, holding a glass of wine, sitting right beside her boss, David. He was leaning a little too close, and she didn't seem to mind. My hands trembled slightly as I set the phone down. I wasn't angry at that moment, just hollow, empty. I had spent the entire day planning something for her, while she was out celebrating, not with me. but with someone else. Still, I refused to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was really work-related. Maybe it just looked bad in the photo. So I waited for hours. The candles burned down, the food went cold, and the wine lost its warmth. By midnight, I finally gave up. I turned off the lights, sat on the couch, and just stared at the dark ceiling. The silence in the house was loud, painfully loud. Memories of past anniversaries flooded my mind. Her smile when I surprised her with a trip, her laughter when we danced in the living room, barefoot and happy. That used to be us. But now, it felt like we were strangers sharing a house and calling it marriage. She came home around 1 a.m. The sound of the door unlocking snapped me out of my thoughts. I didn't say anything. I just watched her quietly as she entered, heels clicking softly against the floor. She looked surprised to see me still awake. "Hey, you're still up?" she asked, setting her purse down. "Yeah," I replied, my tone calm but cold. "How was the work dinner?" She hesitated. "It was fine. Just some clients and David. It ran longer than expected." I nodded slowly, keeping my gaze steady. I saw the photos online. Her eyes widened for a split second before she looked away. "Photos? Oh, that. Yeah, one of the interns was taking pictures for fun. Looked like you were having a good time," I said, my voice quiet but heavy with disappointment. She sighed, rubbing her temples. "Can we not do this right now? I'm exhausted, and it was just dinner. Nothing happened. I didn't want to fight. I really didn't. But the words came out anyway. Emma, it wasn't just any day. It was our anniversary. You didn't even call. I sat here waiting for you while you were out drinking with your boss." She frowned, defensive now. I said I was sorry this morning. "I told you we could celebrate later. You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I repeated softly. "You forgot our anniversary, didn't show up, and didn't even have the decency to check on me once. I made dinner, Emma. I waited all night." Her expression softened for a moment, maybe guilt, maybe pity, but she quickly brushed it off. "You know how demanding my job is. Not everything revolves around you." That sentence hit harder than anything else. Not everything revolves around you. I felt something inside me break a little. "I never said it did," I replied quietly, but I thought our marriage still meant something. Clearly, I was wrong. She sighed again and walked past me toward the bedroom. "We'll talk in the morning." "I can't do this right now." I didn't follow her. I just sat there in the dim light, staring at the untouched dinner table. The cold food, the melted candles, and the gift box still waiting to be opened. It was supposed to be a night of love, laughter, and celebration. Instead, it turned into a night of realization. Realization that something between us had shifted, maybe permanently. I didn't sleep much that night. My mind kept replaying the image of her with her boss, the laughter, the way she had brushed off everything as if it didn't matter. By morning, I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. When she woke up, she looked tired but acted as though nothing had happened. "Morning," she said casually. "Do you want coffee?" I looked at her, this woman I had loved for years, and for the first time, I saw a stranger. "No, thanks," I said, my voice flat. She glanced at me, sensing my tone. "You're really going to stay mad about last night?" "Emma," I said calmly, "I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I thought we were stronger than this." She exhaled sharply. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. It was just one night. One night that showed me where priorities are." I replied, her face hardened. "So, what do you want from me? To quit my job? Stop talking to my boss? You're being ridiculous." I shook my head slowly. "No, Emma. I just wanted you to remember us. That's all." She didn't reply. She grabbed her bag and walked out again. Off to work. Off to another day where I'd once again be waiting, wondering when our marriage had stopped feeling like a partnership and started feeling like loneliness. That day, I realized that love doesn't fade in one big explosion. It dies quietly in the little moments when someone stops caring. And last night was one of those moments. I didn't know what the future held for us, but deep down, a painful truth was beginning to form. One I couldn't ignore for long. Because when the person you love forgets what truly matters, it's not just the anniversary that gets lost, it's the meaning of the relationship itself. The next few days after our forgotten anniversary felt heavier than ever. The silence between Emma and me had turned into a wall, thick, cold, and unmovable. We barely spoke. When we did, it was about trivial things like bills, groceries, or appointments. Everything else was left unspoken, buried under the weight of disappointment. At first, I thought maybe she'd realize how much that night had hurt me and try to make things right. But she didn't. She carried on as if nothing had happened. Late nights at work became more frequent. Dinners together turned into lonely takeouts for one. Sometimes, I'd catch her smiling at her phone, then locking it the second she saw me looking. Once, I asked who it was, and she replied without hesitation, "Just David. He's checking on the quarterly report." It was the same excuse every time. David, the boss. The name had started to echo in my mind, like a bad tune I couldn't turn off. I didn't want to become that jealous husband who suspects everything, but deep down, something didn't feel right. One Friday evening, I decided to surprise her at work. I wanted to show her that I still cared, that maybe we could fix what was broken. I picked up her favorite takeout meal, sushi from the small Japanese place near her office, and drove there with a small spark of hope. When I reached her office building, the parking lot was mostly empty. Her car was still there, which meant she was inside. I took the elevator up to her floor, carrying the food bag in one hand and the bracelet gift in my pocket, the one she had never opened. As I stepped into the dimly lit office hallway, I could hear faint laughter coming from the conference room. The door was slightly ajar. I approached quietly, not to eavesdrop, but just to peek in and surprise her. But what I saw stopped me in my tracks. Emma was sitting at the conference table, across from David. They weren't touching, but the way they looked at each other, that closeness, that soft gaze, it wasn't professional. It wasn't the kind of look you give your boss. It was the kind of look you give someone you feel connected to. David was leaning forward, talking softly. "You deserve someone who sees your worth," he said. Emma smiled shyly. "You always know how to say the right thing." My heart sank. I stood frozen, the food bag trembling in my hand. My stomach twisted as I realized I didn't need to see more. The truth was right in front of me. I didn't walk in. I didn't make a scene. I just turned around and left quietly. The ride home felt endless, the kind of silence that eats you from the inside out. When I got home, I placed the food on the counter and sat there in the dark, trying to understand how we got here. I replayed every memory in my head. The way she used to look at me when we were first married, the way she'd wait by the window when I came home from work, how she once said, "You make me feel safe." Somewhere along the way, that feeling had faded, maybe slowly. Maybe it had been dying for years. She came home late again that night, as usual. Her hair was slightly messy, her lipstick faded. She looked surprised to see me awake. "Hey," she said, hanging her coat. "You're up late again." "I went to your office," I said quietly. Her body stiffened. "You what?" "I wanted to bring you dinner," I continued, my voice calm. "But I saw you with David." The room fell silent. Her eyes darted away, her mouth opening slightly as if searching for a lie that might sound convincing. But nothing came out. After a few seconds, she said softly, "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." I replied, my tone even, because what I saw didn't look like just work. She sighed deeply, rubbing her forehead. "I don't know what you wanted to say, Mark. Things have been complicated. You and I barely talk anymore. You're distant and I've been stressed with work." "Don't," I interrupted. "Don't put this on me." "I'm not," she said defensively. "But you can't deny things between us have changed. Maybe we both stopped trying." Her words hit like small knives, sharp, deliberate. "So that's your excuse? You stopped trying, so you found comfort somewhere else." Tears welled in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them. "I didn't plan this, okay? It just happened." I closed my eyes, trying to steady my breathing. That's what people always say before they destroy something good. She looked at me helplessly, as if unsure whether to argue or apologize. But then, Instead of coming closer, she turned away. That told me everything I needed to know. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because she asked me to, but because the bed didn't feel like ours anymore. It felt like a lie. The next morning, I woke up early and went for a walk. The air was cold, the streets quiet, and I felt strangely calm. Sometimes pain does that. It breaks you so much that you stop feeling anything at all. When I got back, she was sitting at the table, staring at the bracelet box I had left open. She held it in her hand, her eyes red from crying. "It's beautiful," she said softly. "I'm sorry I never opened it before." I didn't reply. "Mark, I made a mistake," she continued. "I don't know how to fix this. I never wanted to hurt you." I stood there silently for a moment, then said, "I know you didn't want to, but you did." She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "Do you love him?" I asked. She hesitated too long. That hesitation was the answer. I don't know," she whispered. That was enough for me. "I think you do," I said quietly. "And that's okay. You don't have to pretend anymore. But I can't be in a marriage where I'm waiting at home while you're out finding comfort somewhere else." Her tears started to fall. "Please don't give up on us." I looked at her one last time, the woman I had once built my world around, and said, "You already did." For the next week, I stayed at a friend's place. It gave both of us space to breathe, or maybe to fall apart separately. During that time, I realized something painful but freeing. Love alone isn't enough. You can love someone deeply, but if respect and loyalty fade, love can't survive on its own. She texted a few times, asking to talk, but I didn't reply immediately. I needed time. Time to stop hurting, time to see things clearly. A few days later, she showed up at the cafe where I was sitting. She looked tired, almost defeated. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded, mostly out of politeness. "I told David it was over," she said quickly. "Nothing physical happened, I swear. It was emotional, but I ended it. I realized I was losing you, and it scared me." I stared at her, trying to believe her words, but the trust had already been shattered. "You ended it because you got caught," I said quietly. "Not because you wanted to." She didn't deny it. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Please, Mark, I'll do anything to fix this. I'll quit my job if I have to. I just want us back." I sighed, my heart heavy but firm. "Emma, I don't want you to quit your job. I just wanted you to choose me when it mattered. But you didn't. I was waiting for you, not just on our anniversary, but for months. Waiting for the woman I married to come back." She reached across the table, her voice trembling. "Can we start over?" I looked at her, at the woman who once was my whole world, and for the first time, I didn't see my wife. I saw someone from my past, someone I used to know. "Maybe someday we'll both find peace," I said. "But I think it's time we stop pretending this is still working." She sobbed silently, knowing deep down that the man sitting across from her had already let go. The day I moved out, I left her a note, short, honest, and final. "You forgot our anniversary, but what you really forgot was us. I hope one day you remember what love is supposed to feel like. I'll always wish you peace, but I need mine now." Walking away wasn't easy. It never is. But sometimes the bravest thing you can do for love is to stop chasing someone who no longer meets you halfway. The following weeks were painful. Nights felt longer. The house felt emptier, and the memories hurt more than ever. But as time passed, I began to heal. I started going out again, reconnecting with old friends, rediscovering the things I used to enjoy before my life revolved around keeping a broken marriage alive. Months later, I heard she had left her job and moved to another city. We didn't speak again. Sometimes I wondered if she ever thought about that night, the anniversary she forgot, and realized what it truly cost her. As for me, I learned that love is not measured by grand gestures, but by consistency, by showing up even when life gets hard. And when that stops happening, love slowly becomes a memory. I still keep that bracelet box on my desk, not as a reminder of pain, but as proof of what I gave and what I learned. Because in the end, it taught me that waiting for someone who's already emotionally gone is like waiting for a train that never arrives. It's better to step off the platform, breathe deeply, and start walking toward your own peace. And that's what I did.